Hey y'all, I'm back with my April 2025 reading wrap up, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Books with Kimberly. Don't forget to like, comment, share my channel, and subscribe. Y'all, I am back to go over the books that I have read so far in the month of April. Technically, I have a couple days left, so I can get out one or two more books, and I'll talk about the books I'm currently reading at the end of this video. But right now, I want to talk about the 9 books that I have completed so far. 2 of those books have been audiobook reads, and the other 7 books were ebooks that I read on my Kindle, baby. So let's get right into those books. If you tuned into my March 2025 reading wrap up, then at the end of the video, I spoke about 3 books that I was currently reading and could have possibly finished in March. Those 3 books did not get finished until the first week or 2 of April. So let's get into those books. The first book is Oathbound by Tracy Deonn. It is the 3rd book in the Legendborn series. And the Legendborn series is a series that I do like. It's just not one that I'm in love with. There have been some elements that have been missing for me, but I do think that the series is good. It's well written. It's written by a Black woman. I think it's more of a preference thing of me just not being a fan of the King Arthur plotline in this series. And I guess there's a part of me that wished the book was like really blackety black and only focused on root magic and root crafters, but that's not what this series is. It wouldn't be Legendborn. And so it really took this 3rd book, Oathbound, for me to really see the importance of bringing in this bigger storyline of her being a member of this order. This is a representation of the racism that Black people go through being the one Black person. And so I think Tracy really did a great job in book 3 of really showing how this is bigger than the order. This has to do with them not liking Bree for who she is, and I really think some important messages were really touched on about being a Black girl in predominantly white spaces. In Oathbound, we pick up where Bree has made a deal with the Shadow King that he will train her to use her root, and in return, she will owe him whatever when he sees fit. I think that's a very dumb bargain, but hey, it's on brand for Bree. So she's getting stronger, learning more. We get introduced to 2 more Black characters, which I really like. And then another big difference with this book is we get multiple perspectives. We get perspective from Mariah and the root crafters, and we get more Valak, who is super funny. And we also get perspective of William, and we get more of the character Nick in this book. So I really love the romance elements that were in this book because Nick and Bree have been reunited. I will say I gave this book overall 4 stars. What kept me from giving it 5 is, I don't know, my interest kind of dwindled towards the end. I was eating this book up. I just knew I was going to give it 5 stars. I think my problem is that I still do not like the main character, Bree. Her character has grown in this book, but I still think she has more growing to do. And I really feel like this series probably needs 2 more books because the way it ended. But I don't know. I've been hearing only 1 book is left. So I'm curious how Tracy is going to wrap everything up in one final book. Or I feel like in this book, more information and more changes have been made. I feel like that's a lot to wrap up in 1 book. But she's a really good writer. So I believe she can absolutely do it. I also finished Claiming Gabriel, a Paranormal Romance by Tessa Stone at the beginning of this month. This book was really good. It was better than Taming Cain, which is the one I gave 3 stars. I give Claiming Gabriel 4 stars. I did like it better. There's more action. The story is unfolding. The world building is getting better, and we're getting more conflict outside of these fated mates pining over who their human is they're supposed to be matched with. I think in the first book it was very heavy on where's my mate, where's my mate. But this one we're getting a lot of subplots. There's a war brewing. So I do like the backstory I'm getting. And I already know I'm going to continue this series because the next 2 books are about shifters that I am interested in. I don't know if I'm going to fully complete this series, but they got me for the next 2. The next book is Roulette by Huffington. Y'all, I have been enjoying the Grey List series, and I was so excited to read Roulette. She is my favorite one. She is so funny and has no filter and says what she wants to say. As the madam, she owns this strip club. She never wants to be in a monogamous relationship or have children or be married. In comes Isaiah. I love the drama that happens at the beginning of this book. I feel like Roulette is showing she is not one to be played with. And so she ends up getting into an encounter with Isaiah. And baby, Isaiah is hooked off of her from one night. I do love these characters. I gave this book 4 stars. The thing that kept me from giving it 5 is I don't know if anybody else is like this, but when I read books, I be really into them. So if the main character has doubts about the relationship, I'm going to take those into consideration. And even though I'm a romance girly and I just can't wait for the couple to be together and have a happily ever after, if my main girl is having some doubts, I'm going to have doubts too. There were parts of the book where I felt like she was not happy because this is so new. A monogamous relationship is so new for her. And so I would have liked more conversation about compromise and maybe her being in a different kind of relationship. I really thought Greg Huffington was going to write either a poly romance or a wide shoes romance when it came to Roulette, because she was just so loud and proud about not being in a monogamous relationship. Her transition into a monogamous relationship just was not as believable because they didn't have those in-depth conversations. And I'm the kind of reader that if you put doubts out there, I'm gonna pick up on them and be like, you know what, maybe they shouldn't be together. Maybe she should try to find somebody else who is with this lifestyle. Overall, I really did enjoy this book, and I cannot wait to read the next one in this series. The next book I read is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This book is a dark academia fantasy novel. I thought it was really cool. So we get the main character is Alex, and she is working at Yale University. She is there as a student, but her real purpose of being at this college is she is a part of this secret organization called Leafy. And what Leafy does is they govern all of these very secret societies on Yale's campus, and all of them do magic. Alex is very special because she can see ghosts, which they call grays in this book. The main plot of this story is that a student, ends up being murdered on campus, and Alex, her job is to make sure that Leafy was not involved. But even once Leafy and the secret societies are cleared, she still keeps digging and digging and digging because something is not sitting right with this case. And I will say this book was a little boring. I love the dark academia vibe. It was a nice read, but I just wasn't as interested in her going to all these meetings. And then the end, it just came so quickly, and it was a lot of characters being mentioned. And because the other parts were so boring, like these character names were not sticking. So I had to really pay attention at the end to understand what was going on. But it ended really good. And this is a part of a series. I'm giving this book 3 stars. I do plan on reading the next book. But it was pretty good. Just it had its boring parts. Now I'm going to get into my urban fiction bag, y'all. So I read 2 urban fiction series. The first series is 2 urban romance novels, and those are Keep You to Myself and Keep Giving Me Love by BriAnn Danae. Y'all, Keep You to Myself was so good. I ate this book up. We get introduced to the main male character, who is Sanovi, and he is 23 years old, and he's had it really rough going from foster home to foster home, and now he's currently in a home for young men that helps them transition into living independently. And so he encounters this young woman, and she introduces him to her sister, and the two of them immediately have this banter. They have sparks. So the main female character is Torin, who is a private chef, and she does a lot of catering events, very well off for a 26-year-old, I believe. And so the two of them spark this relationship, and I just loved it because he starts cleaning up for her, and she helps him start his own business, which is a cleaning service. And so to see Sanovi go from being this guy working at a restaurant, washing dishes, to having his own business, to finally having the love that he's always deserved, and to Torrin having the love she's always wanted and deserved. I think this book was just so beautiful. I love both characters. I give it 5 stars. I just loved it so much. So there is a second book. I gave the second book 4 stars. It is a continuation and we get more drama happening. There was a lot of drama in the first book and it comes into this book because Sonovi has an ex that is still wreaking havoc in his life. And so I love the drama in both books. I do feel like this one was unnecessary and it got to a point where I was kind of just ready for the story to wrap up. I'm like, this is a lot. I'm ready to move on to something else, but it's still a really good series. And I do want to read more from BriAnn Danae. Also, y'all, this series made me realize that there's a micro trope that I absolutely love, and that is when the main female character says, "I'm not coming up off him." And I know it's probably something I'll only see in urban fiction, but it's basically giving that my man vibe. I love when a female character do not play about her man. I think that's the biggest thing for me, is when a main female character is being loved really well and she embraces it. It's very relatable when we have these main female characters that even though they have a book husband, the perfect book husband, they are still very hesitant. They are doubtful. There's those third act breakups over miscommunication and maybe he wasn't into me. So I just love that Torrin, the main female character, was just so into him and she was just like, I'm not letting him go. And I love that. I love that for her. I love that for both characters because it just means she was being loved real good and she understands she got a good man, Savannah. So yeah, I love that. One critique that I do have about this series, but I'm not taking off for it, is that it was told in third person omniscient POV, and I'm not used to that perspective. I'm really a first person girly. I really am. This book was written in a way that I hadn't really read a book like this before, where Torrin, the main character, she could be in bed reflecting about her day and she could be like, I felt like Sonovi was sad today. And literally the next sentence is, Sonovi was sad. This happened with Sonovi. I'm like, wait. We talking about Torrin right now. You don't have to wait till the next chapter to know how the other character feels about something, but it was just different for me. The next series is the Bambi series by Lady Nesha. So the main character of the Bambi series is Bambi. She meets this guy, King, at the hotel she works at, and King is a player, y'all. He is a menace. He has been raised by pimps, and his grandfather told him, do not trust women, do not fall in love with women. Women will be your downfall, so just do not mess with them. Like, do your business and keep on going. No relationships, nothing. But King runs into Bambi, and of course all of that changes. They start off being friends, then they go to friends with benefits, and then feelings are being caught. And so this whole series is about their relationship, the ups, the downs, the drama. We get the family that raised him. We get Bambi's family. We get her cousin Shayla, and she's dating King's brother Tristan. There's a lot of drama with them as well. Y'all, I have been wondering what y'all were talking about when y'all talk about this cheating trope. I have officially read a book that has the cheating trope, and whew, I see why people get annoyed by it because it's a lot. All these characters were very immature, but hey, it was entertaining. Cheating, fighting, tasing people, lying, scheming, but hey, it was good. So I'm giving all 3 books 4 stars. So now let's get into my current reads. I'm currently reading a thriller mystery, which is by Shanora Williams, and that book is The Perfect Ruin. So I haven't gotten far into it. So far, I know that the main character name is Ivy, and she is trying to get close to this woman named Lola because Lola ruined her life when she was 14 years old, and she wants revenge. It has not been revealed what exactly Lola did to ruin her life. So I do like that that element hasn't been revealed yet. So far, I am interested and I'm going to keep going. The next book that I'm currently reading is The Opportunity by T.M. Richardson. Y'all, I love this series by her. The Secret series by T.M. Richardson. It's so good. And y'all, these books are smut. They are very, very spicy. But what I love is that T.M. Richardson does a great job of balancing her books. There's really good plot, really good characters, and then a lot of smut. But it's all very balanced for me. This is another book where she explores relationships other than monogamous ones. I'm forgetting all the terms already, but the main character of this one is Nadine. And so Nadine is actually exploring her sexuality in this book. Nadine is a very annoying, frustrating main character. She really is. There's a reason why. In this book, she is having multiple therapy sessions where they're talking through her sexuality and her opening up her relationships to other possibilities so that both her and her husband can be happy. So yeah, I can't wait to finish this one. All that is it for the April books that I've read so far or am currently reading. Get down in the comments and let me know what books you are reading. And thanks again for tuning in to a Books with Kimberly video.